This is one of the most insane stories I think that I've ever heard.
It's true. I did send out 3 tweets about the Indiana Fever versus New York Liberty game during the Big 3 broadcast. And I retweeted a Nike basketball tweet, and then I also retweeted when the Indiana Fever won the game.
If she's doing her job, she's doing a great job at what she's doing. Leave it at that, man.
How do you get fired just for tweeting about Caitlin Clark? Seriously, in a world where athletes brawl, coaches rant, and broadcasters slip up on live TV all the time, this is what gets someone canned? Well, welcome to 2025, where the Caitlin Clark effect has reached a new level of chaos. Former Big 3 reporter Rachel DeMita just found that out the hard way. She didn't curse, she didn't go on a rant, she tweeted one tweet, and suddenly she's out, gone, fired. All because she had the nerve to comment on the most polarizing player in women's basketball. But here's the kicker. This firing might be the best thing to ever happen to her. Because if you've been paying attention lately, anything tied to Caitlin Clark turns into clicks, followers, and viral buzz. Rachel might have lost a gig, but she just stepped into the spotlight like never before. And the Big 3, they might have just fumbled the ball, live and in HD. For anyone just now tuning in, Rachel DeMita isn't some random sideline reporter. She's been building her brand for years, blending hoop culture with sharp media chops. Former college baller? Check. ESPN stints? Check. NBA 2K fans know her. Hoops Twitter knows her. And until recently, the Big 3 knew her too. That is, until she hit send on a tweet about Caitlin Clark during her Big 3 coverage and suddenly found herself on the outside looking in. The tweet wasn't offensive, it wasn't scandalous, it was just honest. Something about Caitlin Clark's rising profile, the usual firestorm of fan takes, and boom, Big 3 hit the panic button. No warning, no conversation, just vibes and a pink slip. Now, whether it was jealousy, pettiness, or just someone in PR having a meltdown, the move backfired instantly. Because if you're paying attention to what's trending in sports media, Rachel's name started popping up in all the right places, and Big 3's decision started looking dumber by the minute. Let's be real, the Caitlin Clark effect is no joke. One mention of her name and social media lights up like Times Square. And it's not just fans, whole leagues are reacting. Just ask Sophie Cunningham. One scuffle with JC Sheldon, one ejection, and boom, her follower count nearly doubled overnight. Why? Because she was seen as standing up for Caitlin. That's the power of narrative in 2025. It's not just about stats anymore. It's about who aligns with the most talked about name in women's sports. And that name, without question, is Caitlin Clark. She's not just a player, she's a movement. And when Rachel tweeted about her, she wasn't crossing the line. She was stepping into the trend, whether she meant to or not. In today's game, even a whiff of Caitlin Clark controversy turns into content gold. And in the rush to control the spotlight, the Big 3 somehow decided to fire the person who was actually bringing them attention. Genius move, right? Here's the plot twist. No one at the Big 3 saw coming. Firing Rachel might have been the best promo for Rachel. Yeah, she lost a paycheck, but what she gained, visibility, momentum, and maybe even a bigger platform than she had before. Look at what happened to Sophie Cunningham. Drama plus Caitlin, instant clout. Rachel's already got the media skills, the following, and now a headline. Her name's buzzing, people are defending her, and her socials are heating up. She doesn't even have to chase the story. She is the story. And let's be honest, covering the Big 3 was cool, but it wasn't exactly trending on X or pulling YouTube clicks. Meanwhile, the WNBA's exploding with highlights, rivalries, and more viral moments than ever. Rachel's next move could easily be a pivot straight into W coverage, and the league would be smart to snatch her up. If the Caitlin Clark effect can turn a tweet into a tidal wave, Rachel might be surfing it all the way to her next big gig. Now let's talk about the Big 3, because this move might go down as one of the biggest self-owns of the year. Look, The Big Three was already fighting for attention in a sports landscape crowded with NBA Finals drama, WNBA surges, and NFL storylines. They had Rachel, someone relatable, plugged in, and capable of connecting with a younger audience. Someone who could bring eyes to a league most folks only remembered when Ice Cube trended for offering Caitlin Clark $5 million. And they tossed her out over a tweet? Not a scandal, not an insult, just a few characters that happen to involve the golden goose of sports media right now. Instead of riding that wave, they unplugged their own charger. Now Rachel's gaining steam while the Big Three's trending for firing the person giving them relevance. That's not strategy, that's sabotage. And in the social media era, perception is reality. Right now, the reality is the Big Three just lost the one reporter people were actually paying attention to. Meanwhile, the WNBA is out here thriving, sellouts, celebs in the front row, viral clips almost daily. It's no longer just a Caitlin Clark show, although she's still the headliner. Now the whole league is eating. Sabrina Ionescu's lighting it up in New York. Atlanta's ballin' with rising stars. Sato Saboli's making Phoenix fun to watch again. Even Dallas is getting shine, and they're barely winning games. Everyone's got something to tune into now, and the W's finally figured out what it's been missing: buzz. For years, players begged for attention, respect, TV deals, and the moment one player made the world stop scrolling, the rest of the league started catching up. You've got celebrities at games like it's NBA All-Star Weekend, and every big play turns into content. It's no longer why aren't people watching, now it's where do we get tickets. That's the landscape Rachel DeMita just stepped into. Forget the Big Three. If she jumps into WNBA coverage now, she's not just keeping her brand alive, she's upgrading it. Remember when Ice Cube tried to throw $5 million at Caitlin Clark to join the Big Three? Bold move, but it flopped. She politely passed, and the Big Three went back to the shadows. That offer said everything. They knew Clark was the golden ticket. Visibility is currency, and Cube was trying to cash in. But instead of building a smarter ecosystem around rising names like Rachel, people who can bring that visibility, the league fumbled. This reminds me of the Beats by Dre era. When nobody wanted to spend $400 on headphones, Dre just gave them to every NBA star during warm-ups. No commercials needed. Suddenly, college and NFL players copied the drip, then the fans followed. It worked because culture leads and eyeballs follow the influencers. That's what's happening with the WNBA now, and what the Big Three clearly doesn't get. Instead of following that playbook, they dropped their most culturally in-touch voice over a harmless tweet. Meanwhile, everyone else, from sports media to sneaker brands, is sprinting toward the Caitlin Clark spotlight like it's the last lifeboat on the Titanic. So here we are, one tweet, one firing, and now Rachel DeMita's name is hotter than ever. The Big Three might have thought they were protecting their image, but instead they turned a quiet sports moment into a viral PR mess. The Caitlin Clark effect doesn't just shake up box scores, it shifts careers. Rachel just became another name boosted by the wave. And if the WNBA has any marketing sense left, they'll scoop her up fast before someone else does. As for the Big Three, well, they might want to reread the room next time before tossing out the only person getting them attention. But hey, that's showbiz, baby. If you're still here watching, I gotta ask, do you think Rachel got done dirty? Should the Big Three have let the tweet slide? Drop a comment, let's hear your take. And while you're at it, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and smash that notification bell harder than the Big Three slam the fire button. You don't want to miss what happens next in the Caitlin Clark cinematic universe.